Hello and welcome once again to episode 82 of Code Completion. We're a group of iOS developers and educators hoping to share what we love most about development, Apple technology, and completing your code. My name is Dimitri and I'll be your host once again for this episode, and I'm joined today by my fellow completionists, Fernando. Welcome back.
Hello, hello.
And Spencer.
Hey there.
So this week, Apple finally discontinued the iPod, which basically was just the iPod Touch at this point. And that reminded me that was Apple's closest device to like a hobbyist's Raspberry Pi iOS style device that you can, if you were a developer, you can basically do whatever you want with. And that got me thinking, like, what other cool hypothetical products and features do you wish Apple like made? Because they like started things and like discontinued them over time. Not nearly as often as like Google, for instance, but there has been some churn. And we basically went over a few of these in the past. Like we talked about maybe like a Raspberry Pi style M1 device that would just be bare bones. You can hook it up and do whatever you want with it. That'd be super cool. And then we've also talked at length about potential Apple glasses, which would also be super cool. But those don't exist yet. They probably... So one of them will probably never exist, and the other might be announced at DubDub. Who knows? But in terms of just cool stuff that we wish Apple as a company would make, Spencer, why don't you go off first?
Yeah, so one of the ones that would be cool to me would be, okay, so as a person that has a car that is almost as old as he is and is trying to run it into the ground before he buys a new car, unless I, come into like $1 million somehow, I'm probably not buying a new car anytime soon. I love my car. But it's old, right? And so I've like replaced the stereo in it and stuff, and I have good speakers in it, and I've, made it nice for me, but I'm not planning on buying a new car. But one thing that I've looked into and I've tried out is to like get some kind of CarPlay style thing working in my car. And they've got like these janky adapters that you can use to like plug into an Android device, and they just suck. And so I was thinking that you could use like an old iPhone or an iPad, or I guess a new one, and essentially use CarPlay as like its own standalone app, or its own app, or as like a standalone alternate version of iOS that you install onto the device itself. And what got me thinking of that is they did something cool with I think it's the second generation Airport Express, or something. I don't know. I can't remember which one. Mm-hmm. But I'm using a couple of those to power my home speaker in-ceiling speaker system. And that's how I just AirPlay to different rooms. So there's like a precedent there. And Samsung kind of did another similar thing where you could like turn your phones into like a baby monitor and stuff. And so there's like no limitation, I suppose, I guess, other than Apple not really caring about supporting old devices when it doesn't really benefit them per se. But I think it'd be super cool.
You do get that with AirPlay too, like regular video AirPlay, like to Macs and stuff is now possible.
Right.
So like I can definitely see them adding something of the sort. I guess it's a little weird that you can't AirPlay from a phone to like an iPad. That would be a cool use case, but I don't think that's possible, right?
I don't think so. But I mean, you could just say, yeah, like you could just put an iPad up there anyway and use it as an iPad, but that's not what I want. I just want the easy interface while I'm driving, easy maps, easy music, and have it act like a normal touchscreen CarPlay thing that you would have in a newer car. So I think that would be probably like my number one. I don't know. I couldn't think of like anything really that I would really, really want, but that would be something that is pretty niche, but for me would be awesome.
I mean, it's simple. You just get a Mac Mini, you wire it up to some power contraption in your trunk. You route that to one of Fernando's little tiny monitors, and then you run the simulator, and then you have a permanent CarPlay.
I have tried running the CarPlay simulator just for fun, and it's not awesome. And I don't know how that would work with, lack of cellular.
But you could you could mount an iPad
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that would be it.
Not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the CarPlay interface. I don't want to sit there and mess with small icons. I want like the CarPlay interface and
Is
the
there,
CarPlay
is there
maps.
a way to make the icons bigger, like accessibility wise?
Yeah, but not that big. I mean,
No, I
Does
have
anyone
no idea.
remember Simple Finder? Simple Finder was simple.
I don't remember that.
You
Maybe
could
anyways,
build an app
I know.
that just has like huge icons and sends you to the other apps. You wouldn't
I
need to
know.
publish it on the App Store. You wouldn't be able to, but
It's not the same though. I don't know. It's like people. I mean, I can imagine that whatever is running CarPlay in all of these cars is not very powerful. So like grab
Android
an old
Auto.
iPad. Yeah, and Android Auto.
Oh! I just remembered. You can do what every Tesla owner now needs to do: buy a Raspberry Pi and have it run Android Auto. And as a result, you'll get a free CarPlay receiver, which can run in the web browser of the Tesla.
Oh, that's
thing.
so gross, dude.
But yeah, you could totally do that.
I guess. I don't have it. Yeah, I don't know.
but the point of the episode is Spencer wants Apple to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Just give me.
they've done it for AirPlay, right? They just have to do it for CarPlay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense as like a precedent, but
He
done
can
things like that
replace his stereo with one that's a CarPlay receiver that has a built-in screen and everything. But no, he wants to duct tape it.
well, I also don't want to pay like $500 for one. So
Yeah.
When you already have a $500 iPad, right?
I already have the iPad, or I could just buy
Exactly.
a cheap one. Yeah, I don't know. It's the same, but it's not the same. I know, I get what you're getting at, but
No, I
it's
totally
not
get
the
it.
same.
I'm just messing with you. Okay, Fernando, what's your number
Yeah,
one?
go for Nano.
So my number one, I changed my mind. It's not that one. Give me a second. I have it here. The original iPod Shuffle. I
The
miss
stick?
it. So here's the thing. When I initially conceived of this amazing idea of bringing back the iPod Shuffle, I was like, but let's add GPS so that I can take it running and it doesn't, like, it tracks my running thing. And then I was like, well, I have a watch. And then I realized I actually don't like my watch. I leave it on my bedroom stand for days on end because I forget it. And like, it really doesn't offer anything to me. But
You need
if
a
I had,
watch tan.
I have a watch stand too, for sure. Because most days I don't forget, but sometimes I do. Like, it's not important to me like the iPhone. So I'd really like a dedicated device for running. I bought a what do you call it? Like an iPod. I think it was a 5th generation that a friend of mine had. I basically used it for running, changed the battery and used it for running, but it's too clunky. Like, it's the actual big iPod. So I'd really like the clip-on shuffle with like a GPS so that I can just clip it on, go out running, come back, it syncs with my iPhone, and that's it.
You could probably just buy some sort of an attachment for your watch to do that.
I like how the show has suddenly become, oh, here are the workarounds you can
Yeah. Put 3 problem solvers in a room, see what problems they solve.
But but the thing is, like, I miss physical buttons. Like, if
Yeah,
you want to
that's fair.
change the song, it was as simple as click and you instinctively know, like, next song, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And here it's like you have to, I have to hit the tap target. So it's
Oh, you don't want to talk to the lady? You can talk to the lady. No buttons.
Hey Siri, next. Hey Siri, next. Siri.
While you're like panting and sweating and running.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, sorry. See, this is the point. Like, stop. Thank you. This is the whole point. Like, give me physical buttons, give me a GPS, and give me a tiny device, and I'd be super happy.
And it could be like a terabyte of storage because it's like just a flash drive, basically.
No. Give me 128 megabytes so that it's like
Old school. Okay.
retro, you have to choose your music.
Like
There's no
2 albums
streaming.
worth.
Yeah, it's like 5 songs and that's it.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be the new record player fad, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
oh, I didn't have record
Yes.
players in my house as a young child of my grandparents' house, but I did have a bunch of iPods because my parents were Fernando, Spencer, and I. Therefore, that's like my retro feel, just to have a whole bunch of old devices. I replace the battery on all of them. They fit like dozens of songs that I have to choose to like sing. Like I have all of Apple Music and Spotify. Like I want all of them, but I know I can't have all of them. I have to choose my 1,000 songs, and then we're good, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm trying to hit. Yes, thank you, Dimitri.
All right. Back to the early 2000s. I like it. All right, Dimitri, what about you?
Okay, so mine is more of like a feature that I wish Apple would do, because I think they have all the hardware necessary to do it, though maybe it's impractical with like today's security practices. But on almost every Mac that Apple sells that has a display anyways, there's an ambient light sensor. So when it's dark, the screen will dim so it doesn't blind you. And when it's bright out, it will brighten so that way you can see. And you need to adjust every now and then the brightness, but you're just adjusting, you're not setting. I think Apple should have this for sound. Like time and time again, I'm just like in dead quiet, I tap a YouTube video, not knowing what my sound is at, and it's blaring, waking everyone up, and that sucks. And consequently, when it's noisy out, I play something and can't hear anything, so then you raise the volume, and therefore you're set up to blare yourself in the future. So it's like a horrible feedback loop. So I would really want Apple to invent the Ambient Sound Sensor. It's called a microphone. You can you can figure out exactly how loud the environment is, and then respond, like set the volume in turn. Like that would be more than good enough for me, and it would probably like satisfy most people, because that's like a super common problem. I feel like, especially as we change environments and we don't necessarily change the volume to match. So yeah, that's like my number one wish for Apple to invent, is an ambient sound sensor.
Here's 2 scenarios where I see that happening. One, I'm lying on bed and Sylvia's sleeping, and like I've screwed up enough times that the first thing I do whenever I start browsing on my phone in that situation is open Control Center and put the volume all the way down. Mm-hmm. Like, because I've had enough times where I tap on a video and I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, and then which is very annoying.
Do you know what my muscle memory used to be? So on the phone, it used to be that the sound would only come out from here.
Oh.
So what I would do is I would put my thumb. So anytime I'm in bed, I hold my phone like this, and my thumb would dampen the sound, and therefore wouldn't be loud, ever. Because I'm always going to hold my phone like this in bed. And if I ever wanted it to be loud, I just lift my thumb off, and now it's loud. But that became impossible as soon as like there's like the spatial audio and stereo,
right?
And all those fun enhancements. So like that has not been a thing for the past few years. But yeah, I totally built that into how I use the device, because like it solved the purpose.
If only we had the technology.
Yeah, I mean, now we just need a third hand, and that would solve it, because the phone's like too big anyways.
It's not like we have, 3 microphones on Macs and 2 microphones on an iPhone. I don't. What you're asking is a little impossible, I think.
I think the HomePods do it. Like they'll adjust how loud they are when they respond to you, depending on like how loud the ambient sound is. But like, just do that for everything. I don't know. Is there a patent that's like preventing Apple from doing it? It's like so obvious, in my mind at least. Yeah,
it's like the CarPlay thing. They've already got it. Just put it on more things.
Exactly.
I just want CarPlay, guys. That's all I want.
Okay, what do you want less than CarPlay, Spencer?
I would love, going off of Dana's amazing render of it, an ultrawide or a super ultrawide iMac or Apple display with all the, fancy XDR, ProDisplay, NIS, whatever, good color calibration and all that. Uh, yeah, that's all. I like my monitor, but I don't know. It'd be nice to have an Apple one for the Apple fanboy that I am.
How much would you pay for this? Is immediately the question. Whenever it comes to displays, it's always the question.
$300.
I wouldn't pay a ProDisplay XDR, times 1.5 price, but I would pay like Apple Studio, monitor price times 1.5. Does that make sense? For like 1.5 times the display.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
So
Yeah.
double that and we're good, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The monitor that I have now, new, which I didn't get new, is like $1,600 already. So I mean, it's up
It would be a
there-ish.
reasonable price point.
Yeah. For when I upgrade to, and that's the thing with this is it's 1440p, but 5120 by 1440p. That's obviously not enough for Dimitri, which is fine. But if it basically there's not anything with a higher pixel density right now, or maybe they're just coming out with them. So if Apple were to come out with one that's like Retina, be really nice. I'd probably get it. I don't know what it would be at that point, like 7K or something. It'd be a lot
I
of
think
pixels.
I did the calculation. I think what would satisfy me is like a 16K display. Just big curved and 16K. That would hit all the
screen
point.
size?
I don't think I would want more at that point. It would just be like too much of my field of view. But yeah, that would be so nice.
What would be the screen size at that point? Like 70 inches or something?
It would be my current setup, like the whole width
Oh,
of that.
okay.
It's just like as one monitor,
As
16K.
That'd be a lot. I mean, probably like 55 inches at the least.
I mean, yeah, it's
I mean,
yeah,
you,
it
you've
matches.
got a 32.
I have a 55 here. I have my
There you
monitor
go.
over there. They're roughly the same size. Yeah, just like make it curved and like blast that pixel density, and yeah, I'd be good.
Yeah, so just 4 times the most current expensive TV's resolution is what you want. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, 5 years from now, you'll probably get it.
yeah.
3,
Technology.
maybe.
Keep on moving forward. Grenada?
Cool.
Hello. There you go. Yes. Okay. So this is not like a hobbyist. I don't know if I would consider this a hobbyist level device. But like I would really like for Apple to get into the very cheap laptop, iPad, desktop game. Like there was this whole rage about the Chromebooks, which died out and it sucked. Like the end of the PC reign. And I'd really like something like that. Having recently I've been trying to like record and stream whenever a couple of friends of mine come home and we play Smash. And I'm like, I could use my $2,500 Mac laptop and put it in danger out there. Or if I had like a $99 laptop or iPad, that'd be amazing. And that's why I originally chose like a PCI enclosure as my number one, because that'd be fantastic. I could have like a $99 desktop with like an NVIDIA 3080 Ti, whatever. I don't know why, but it sounds cool. I don't know what I would do with it.
It would be incompatible, number one. I mean, you've
Yeah, you'd
obviously
have to
not
go-
been following along.
No. In my scenario, since this is a PCIe enclosure by Apple, they would obviously
No.
support
No, but
a
then
lot
that
of
would
PC
that would involve a second wish with the genie for Apple and Nvidia to make up, and that's like a separate. That's a whole
That's
separate
actually fair.
ball game.
That's fair. Okay, I'll choose an ATI, whatever.
Okay,
AMD.
you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll save my genie wish for my mystery device.
Okay.
Number 3.
All right. Fair. That would be cool. I think along with like, well, okay, so like, think about the what do they call them? The DTKs had an A12Z
Uh-huh,
in it, I think.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
That was way plenty powerful, I'm sure. Dimitri, you had one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was probably plenty powerful for just testing it out and stuff, right?
It was
Yeah. Okay. So if you throw in like something like an A10 or an A11 for $100, something way old,
Yeah.
maybe they just have a bunch of stock of, or the fabs are just sitting there not doing anything, and they can produce them for cheap. Then,
or you buy
that'd
it
be
secondhand. That already
Yes,
exists.
and then throw CarPlay on it.
Exactly. Probably still
but that-
jailbreakable.
Yeah. But that would be like the thing with either like a laptop, a desktop, or just like a Raspberry Pi type thing. Like I wouldn't even want it to have an M1. I'd just say like throw something old on it that will let me run Swift basically, and let me use Foundation and UIKit and Swift UI and all of the Apple frameworks that I already know, but do anything I want with it.
Do you know UIKit?
Not anymore.
No, I'm joking.
But only half joking.
Yeah, I'm only half joking. But no, I agree. I wrote it down like specifically as a desktop or a laptop because it cannot be an iOS device. It has to run macOS in some way, right? It has to be a $99. It doesn't need to be aluminum. Like I miss the old plastic, white and black the laptops. What the MacBooks? Were they just called
polycarbonate
MacBooks?
iBooks.
Yeah. iBooks, right, you're right. So like I miss that. It doesn't need to be expensive, it doesn't need to be fancy. It's just a cheap macOS enabled machine. That's it.
I think that would hurt the brand image too much.
You think? I mean,
Yeah. But I think it'd be awesome. I mean, I think the weird thing is Apple tried to get into, the education market with iPads, right? Like education discount. They were like, I don't know, a little over $200 each probably, which is 33% off. I mean, it's like a good deal, I suppose. But iOS probably wasn't ready then. I bet they could have, if they did it now, they probably could get away with it. But
I mean, that's that's kind of why I think like a Raspberry Pi style thing would be the only conceivable way that Apple could like do this, because it could, one, show off their silicon for like hobbyists, but two, it's not going to replace anything for a normal person, and that's the key piece.
I can see that. Yeah, like a $99 A12 machine running macOS would
like it'll still be $300, but
well, in my Genie Wish, it's $99.
got it.
But I agree. Like it's a Genie Wish. It's hard.
it'd be so cool though if they like, I don't know, they never probably do it, but just like market it and be like, this is like your, give this to students who want to learn how to code, and that's like you can run Xcode and compile things fine for anything that a student in high school or like in college would probably be wanting to do. That'd be great. I don't know how else you could swing it as like a, I don't know, I guess you could swing it as like a, let's give them pages and numbers and Keynote and everything. And I don't know, Google, I think, just hardy has their claws entrenched in the Zoomers and everything. Like, you'll hear stories of Zoomers like not even knowing how to navigate through a file system because they've only used Chromebooks as their computers and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like the Chromebook, I don't know, may not be going as hard as it was, but there are a lot of people that use them still, and
hundreds have been permanently damaged by Google Docs. Are you one of these people? Call us now.
Call Andrew Madsen, get on his hate train, and we can
fight
Google
back
together. Yeah.
But yeah, recently with the whole streaming thing, I saw that the Raspberry Pi offers like a keyboard computer, which just the keyboard and it has the computer. That's amazing. Give me that with macOS. I'd happily pay $99.
I'd pay $500 for that just because it's so cool.
I go.
I mean,
No,
It would
give
fit.
me $99. It's 99. That's it. Cheap plastic.
Okay,
thing.
if it's like an A10, sure. Throw an M1 in there. It's like that keyboard is thicker than my MacBook Air. They could totally do it, dude.
They could totally
This costs
do it.
$130.
Just for the keyboard.
But stupid Apple. Okay, so they make a subsidiary that's called Pear.
Subsidiary.
Yes, banana. Like choose another fruit, and they sell.
They're all taken by anime, Fernando. I'm sorry.
Shit.
All anime has replaced pear, pineapple, bananas. It's all been done.
You're right.
McDonald's.
That's true.
McDonald's and Starbucks.
It's okay. Like Apple can bully them into submission, and that's it. I just want a cheap macOS machine.
It'd be so cool. I love that the Mac Mini is $600, but still, that's not it's a non-trivial amount of money still.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
one sentence summary: a $99 Mac Mini. That's what I want.
Yeah. Go
Cool.
on Craigslist.
With physical buttons and 128 megabytes.
Nice.
That's the thing, you'll never be able to get a $99 Mac Mini. They have such
I know.
high
That's
resale value.
That's why.
Like
it's in
even
this
an
episode.
ancient one, it will be more than $100.
I don't know about that.
Thank you, Mac Mini Colo. Okay, going on to my number 2. I would. The reason why I want like a 16K super monitor is because I want my UI to be like smaller, so I have more space for stuff. And I wouldn't mind like an 8K monitor if I can make the UI smaller and stuff, like completely independent of everything. So my number 2 is like true resolution independence, which the Mac actually had for a long time until like Retina came out and Apple decided, okay, it's at 1x or 2x and nothing in between. But I really think that having that in between, having a slider where you can just like set it exactly where you want it, would be really neat. We no longer have pin strips all over the place that would cause like pixel cracks and stuff. So I think now is the time that this becomes more possible than ever, especially as like on the M1s, if you change the resolution, it's just like instant. There's no flash or anything. Like a slider would be super awesome. You just watch all your windows go and yeah, I think that would universally solve everyone's problems with like finding the perfect Retina monitor for Apple devices, because at that point it wouldn't matter. Like you just set your slider wherever you want it. Nothing is going to be scaled, nothing is going to be blurry. It's just you're setting the interface size, kind of like on iOS you set the dynamic type size. This would be the interface size, and I think that would be super neat for Apple to add to macOS.
So it would be like a system-wide thing, not like a per app.
Oh yeah, system wide.
System-wide. Okay.
I mean, I guess per app, like you can set it. Sure, why not?
What do you want more? This or having your windows stay in the same place?
That's a good question.
You evil person.
I just had to. I'm very annoyed at it. Like it's been months. What is going on with the teams at Apple?
Yeah, I already complained about this last time, but with a desktop, you'd think there's no need to move my windows to the monitor and back because these are gonna be there when I went to bed and they're gonna be there when I wake up. Nope. Every time I wake up the computer, the login screen is like ink.
Yes.
And then it takes a while. It's like ink. And now like it's just shuffle. It's not even like the two side ones. It gets confused and it swaps them. No, it's like whatever is here is down here. Whatever's here is on here, and it just like cycles, and then it like takes a while and then it like jiggles back in place, and it's the most maddening thing. And yeah, that's really why I want a 16K like monitor, is just so that way it's just like all
It's
like
one
Apple
monitor.
doesn't need to make it. I just want one. And
thought-
there would be no jiggering. It's just like the one monitor. The computer doesn't know of any other monitor. It's just that one. Maybe that will fix it. I don't know. Maybe I'm slowly going insane and wishing for obscene things. I don't know.
I hear you. I thought you said you wanted a 16K monitor so that you could just move your head while the rejiggering was happening.
I don't need to move my head. I can move my eyes.
Well, with 16K, I don't know if you can you actually like. Well, it depends on the size, I guess. But yeah. I see your point. It's
You
maddening.
really-
Yeah, it's slowly driving me insane too. I'm this close to just like disabling sleep at all. Like just having the computer be awake all the time because it's so frustrating.
Caffeine.
Yep.
I mean, it's just a slider. It's just some preferences, but goodbye your energy bill.
Exactly. So
It's the
No, but these
monitors
are-
that guzzle the most at this point.
Yeah. You really should, though, just like buy an 8K TV that's like 55 inches and try it out. Just replace everything.
I wouldn't be able
latency
to.
would
The
be-
inputs wouldn't work. This is like stupid at this point.
Why? Wait, what?
An 8K TV doesn't have Thunderbolt in.
Yeah, but you could just adapt it.
Adapted how? What's
know.
the chain?
magic.
There's like a Thunderbolt to DisplayPort 1.4 or something.
Yeah,
Or
but the
HDMI 2.1?
8K TV doesn't have DisplayPort 1.4.
Okay,
It has
it's gotta
HDMI
have-
what kind of-
2.1. Are there any
Okay.
active 2.1 adapters? No, because the Mac comes with HDMI 2, and you can't do
Yeah.
that because it's
That's
stupid.
so dumb. Apple's so dumb for doing that on.
Good.
And I'm
Wait,
not going to run anything at 1x at this stage, Spencer. I can
If
see
you-
those pixels.
Oh my gosh.
But there must be a dock that accepts 2.1, and
Yeah,
you could do
dude.
2.1 to Thunderbolt. Right?
Sure.
There
Okay. So
has to be.
one day, maybe. But currently there is not.
That's so lame.
It
And
is
I don't
nice.
want 1x.
niche.
I want at least 2x or my slider. Give me my resolution independent slider, and then I'll rethink it. But until then,
Do it, Apple.
8K doesn't cut it no more. I got spoiled by 6Ks
What do you mean,
plus
no
5Ks.
8K is like brand new. Oh man. All right.
Anyways, Spencer.
There are HD use. Oh, but you have. No, that's fine. Yeah, USB-C to HDMI 2.1.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
So you could.
Are they active
try-
cables?
What?
Are
Why
they
would
active
need to be
adapters?
active?
That's
Because
a
it's
good
not a
question.
pass through. If you want the resolution, it might just be 2.1, but not the resolution because HDMI 2.1 is a.
I think it ought to
hodgepodge
be because it's a $50
requirements.
cable.
Is it gold plated?
That makes all the difference.
I mean, it's gold plated.
Improves
It
the
must
digital-
work.
Improves all the digital connections.
Oh my gosh.
I think you just need to like. There's a saying in Spanish. You just need to not be afraid of success, Dimitri.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I noticed that for both of you. It
YOLO
just-
and buy it, basically. I think.
Exactly. Yes. Go ahead and buy it.
Okay. Anyway, Spencer, your next one.
Yeah, I didn't have a third one, unfortunately. I was gonna kind of just reclaim the, Raspberry Pi type thing, but we already kind of talked about that. So let's go to Fernando.
A more mini.
A
Yeah.
mini or mini.
Yeah,
The
like the
miniest
one
of
that
minis.
Yeah, that Snazzy made.
That was that small. I would have thought that he would have made a much smaller one, honestly.
It was like 67% smaller or something like that. It was pretty small. A Mac Nano.
Mac Pico.
Pico.
Mac. What is the thing that follows Pico?
Micro.
Femto.
Femto. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I failed out of physics, so
We don't.
don't
yeah.
quote me.
Yeah, I know the metric system, but that's like way beyond like any usable
Yeah.
prefixes.
They need to make like a Mac Kilo then. That's like an entire server rack of
That's
just
what
like Mac
that's
Pros.
that's the Mac Studio is a Mac Kilo.
A Mac
Weighs a
Mega,
kilo.
Does it? Nice.
It's so heavy. It is chonk to the wazoo.
Is it heavier than your tungsten cube?
Yes,
Really?
it is.
Oh,
Like not more dense, obviously, but definitely heavier. Yeah.
Okay, so my mystery device is the opposite of Spencer's wish. I wish they would just give me a 24-inch 5K monitor.
dude, come on, man. We're
Just give
still
it to
on that?
me. Why do I need to go to 27-inch? That sucks. It's horrible. Too big.
The pixels would be too small, Fernando.
Not for you.
Exactly.
No, not for me. I would be so happy with that size.
I mean, the iMac is already 24-inch for 4.5K. Yeah. So it's like, it's just 0.5K. That's all I need.
Yeah,
Give
but then you
me-
need to squeeze all of those pixels. It's a lot of squeezing.
But it's just a tiny bit of squeezing for Genie, Dimitri. How hard could it be? How hard could it be?
Honestly,
Apple-
you just need to have the machine to do it, and then you can pump out any size display you want, right?
Exactly. So it's like one machine away. Just give me
Yeah.
like the iMac used to be 24 and 27 for the longest time. Just make the studio display 24 and 27. And I'll be really happy.
Man, okay, can we just talk about the fact that we totally, well, mostly Dimitri bamboozled you into believing that that was a thing?
See, that would have been an excellent device. That would have been the perfect device. But of course, Apple, in their infinite wisdom, doesn't give the customer what they want.
I know, like CarPlay.
As they say in the industry, they don't give two shits.
That's fair.
So yeah, that's what I want. I want it and make it just so that Dimitri buys it too, even though it's like too small.
Oh, I
for
won't
him.
buy it. I want that resolution, but on the 32 ProDisplay XDR.
But
I want
what
8K on that.
What if it has like HDMI 2.1?
Well, the
I
Mac
would
Studio
care
still
extra
doesn't.
less because it just Thunderbolt, please.
Well, yeah, that's right. Okay,
No,
Thunderbolt
yeah.
2.1.
No, that would be a
We're
down.
on 4. We're on 4, dude.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's what I want. I want to replace my 24-inch monitors with a 5K monitor by Apple, so that it's nice and bright and pretty, and has 128 megabytes of memory.
Nice.
And 64
And CarPlay.
gigs.
Yep.
And
Oh
3
yeah, it cannot
microphones.
include any fancy chips. If I swear, if I have to update the firmware on my monitor, I will break it. Like I'll make a video of it on YouTube of me smashing it with a bat, like technology bat. It's just a screen. I don't need a chip.
Didn't they didn't the firmware expire like a day into something? Like
They stopped
Yeah,
signing
they
it.
had to they had
Oh,
to
they
start
stopped
re-signing
signing
it.
it. Dude.
I'm like, no, this is your scientists were too preoccupied with whether they could do it, and they stopped and didn't think whether they should do it. So, yeah, that's what I want.
On the topic of Thunderbolt, like Thunderbolt 5 will apparently use the same cables and deliver an extra, was it double or an extra half of bandwidth? I forget which is like super
You don't know.
That's insane. That's a lot
Yeah.
of
A lot of
4K
data.
monitors. What about you,
Anyway.
Jimmy? What's your last wish?
cool. Yeah, I guess since we're talking nothing about monitors at this point, my last wish is an Apple Pencil capable ProDisplay XDR. Like what I really want is a ProDisplay XDR I can grab by the side, pull down into like easel mode, and then just pull out the pencil from the side of it and just start scribbling or bringing up an on-screen keyboard or like the true multi-touch dreams that we kind of saw
Yes.
before multi-touch became commonplace. Do either of you remember those videos of like those super cool demos where they had like those reverse projection displays and they were demoing what multi-touch could be? I have to look those up, but I think having like that big canvas would be super super neat to have with an Apple Pencil and Touch, and just have it as an extension of my already ridiculous setup. I think would be super cool.
At
So
my
you
college,
basically
we
want-
used to have a Microsoft Surface.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
kinda
just
like
gonna
that.
say it's the Surface Studio.
It was really
Except
cool.
bigger.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that little knob thing, right? That you can like put on the display and then turn.
Yeah. But it's exactly that. You pull it down and stuff, and yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, that's the thing, with, let's see, what was it? Big Sur, maybe? That the UI slightly grew, and people were like, oh, we're going touch, and it's still not here. And I am surprised at how adamant Apple is about not adding touch support to macOS.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like a gimmick.
I agree. At the same time, I think people that use Windows laptops with touch really enjoy it, and I think it's sort of stayed around long enough to almost define itself as not being a gimmick in a lot of cases.
I think it's a gimmick if the monitor is in front and perpendicular to your face, or parallel, whatever that dimension would be. If it is easel mode, everyone's going to expect it. Because there's no, like, you're going to automatically do that with your hands. But the point and prod at something that's, like, on a wall, absolutely not. That is absolutely a gimmick. It hurts your arms after, like, 5 minutes. Anyone who's had to stand up at a whiteboard knows that writing on a whiteboard is the most awful experience that exists. And basically
and Apple Pencil
that.
support would be cool. And I could see a bunch of, like, professionals, like designers and stuff, moving over to that, even though a lot
I
of people
mean,
will use, like, an
the
iPad.
iPad has taken over the
totally.
digital drawing marketplace.
And it's
Like,
amazing.
no one trusts anything else because it's just not good enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. All I'm
Unless
saying
they
is
use,
that
like, a Wacom tablet, but that's...
no,
But they messed up. Wacom messed up
they messed up.
completely. They missed that boat from miles away, and then Apple just stole their lunch.
I don't think
And there's
I don't
no
think
taking
they
it back.
could have- I don't think they could have done anything. Like Apple had too much going on for them, for Wacom to do anything. Like what they
Wacom being older than the iPad itself and the iPhone as well. Like, they could have done something, yes.
Well, they're monitors and everything, like the Cintiqs that actually are monitors, but you can draw on them, are way more expensive than an iPad.
But what I'm saying is that
Way less resolution. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Even-
not at
even
all
if-
the same latency.
But even if Wacom, or however you pronounce it, could have produced an iPad-like experience, the iPad would have beat it because you wouldn't buy like a single-use device
Yeah,
if you could
that
have your
or like
iPad
an
do it. That's
Android.
what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they could have done anything. Apple just went from general computing to like specialized computing, and it's way easier to do that than to go the other way around.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but either way, I think the only thing there is I don't think I think I agree with you, Spencer, about the like Windows people enjoying their like tactile laptops. I agree with that. It would just I don't think macOS. I think it's a mistake for macOS to go tactile. I just think if you could have a laptop like that, it would have to morph into like iOS in some way.
Yeah, well, yeah, and the cynic in me is like they're just never going to do it because they want to separate iPad OS and Mac OS. I mean, I think they've seeded a lot of like that distinction by like adding trackpad support and all that, and you allowing you to have a cursor and everything on the iPad. But I don't think they'd go any farther.
But think about it the other way. Like in this device from Dimitri, it would be really cool if you could have like iOS specific apps with the iOS UX running. So that way you could have like drawing and notes and everything with the touch and everything, but it would be sandboxed to the app, and everything else like uses a trackpad and anything.
Yeah, so it's like a Catalyst app, or like not even Catalyst. It's just like check the box, run.
It's the other way around, right? Where with Catalyst you run an iOS app with macOS controls. With this anti-Catalyst, what's the opposite of Catalyst? What slows down a reaction? We're not chemists.
I'm no chemist.
So the anti-Catalyst would be a macOS app that turns into an iOS app. That would be interesting, at least.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't know. I just want to be able to easel it in.
And
like,
do things.
I'll still
That's
use a
the
mouse.
wish.
Like, I can put the mouse on the easel. It's so big. There's so much room. Who cares?
Who uses a mouse
Anyways.
nowadays, though?
Yeah, true. I'm shocked. Just kidding.
Yeah. No. Trackpad. All the way.
That said, like, since I do
That
have
game.
I do have my laptop right in front of the Mac Studio setup that I have, and I'm so used to using the trackpad with my left hand from time and time again, like when I need to just like do something quickly, and it just doesn't do anything now because the laptop is not the same computer as as I'm like trying to do like a gesture and like nothing's happening. The laptop's still asleep. The main computer is like clueless as to my intentions, and it's just like a sad time. So I might get a trackpad to put on top of the trackpad just to relay the muscle memory.
Wish
but probably
number
not.
4 for Dimitri.
Wish number 4. Okay, this week's episode of Code Completion is once again brought to you by Super Easy Timer. Super Easy Timer is a quick and easy to use timer app for your Mac. It's completely text-based, so you can type in English what you want, 20 minutes or 5 p.m., hit enter, and instantly start a timer. The timer understands English to create text. The timer understands English text to create, update, and start a new timer. You can quickly change an active countdown, even while it's still counting down. There are even simple keyboard shortcuts to reset or pause. No menus, no sliders, just use English to control your timer. We want to thank Super Easy Timer for sponsoring our show. Search for Super Easy Timer on the Mac App Store today to give it a try. So I hear that you, Spencer, got your hands on a new game console. Is it true that you received your Playdate?
No. I know. That would be cool. No, I got the Steam Deck, though. So here it is in all of its glory. It is beautiful, and it is mine.
Is it transparent like old Nintendo 64s?
No, it's a skin.
Oh.
Same thing I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Disappointment intensified.
Fernando knows. He bought my iPad that also has the same kind of skin. It's my favorite to just see what's on the inside. But I was thinking if they do ever come out with like an old Nintendo 64 style, like frosted casing, I would totally put that on. I love that look. But yeah, I got it. Huh?
No, sorry, go.
Oh, sorry. No, I got it like a week and a half ago. It's been cool to just use and try out. Yeah, it's really interesting as like this more powerful Switch. Super comfortable to use. It's got like, the profile is really nice and like grippy for your hands and stuff. So that's super nice where, you're not kind of having to like, I don't know, weirdly claw your hands to grip this flat tablet.
You don't
thing.
have child's hands, Spencer?
I don't.
That's the issue.
They're man hands.
That's
yeah.
the issue.
Truly. But it's been cool to like, I mean, it runs your Steam library, right? But it's also just like a computer. So people have made some really easy like scripts to like download emulators, give you folders, and you just like drop in your game ROMs and you can start emulating games. So I've tried stuff from like the Game Boy Color to the Wii, and it works really, really well, like 60 frames per second and stuff. So it's been fun to like go through this back catalog of games that I've wanted to play since like, I was a teenager and stuff. And you're doing it on the go. So I have like a portable GameCube, and I'm playing Fire Emblem again. And these games that I haven't played in a long time on here. And, also playing a lot of just Steam games like Loop Hero that are pretty easy to run, but you can like play Elden Ring on it pretty okay, which is crazy. So it's been fun to mess around with, and I mean especially for like the price of the Steam Deck, I think starts at $400 or $450, something like that. It's a lot of power for it. So
I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
Number 1, does it run Doom?
Yes, it runs Doom.
Amazing. Number 2, you just spent $400.
Is it really that amazing though?
It is amazing that we continue this honored tradition of making sure any device that's out there can run Doom.
Yes, well, I think if a pregnancy test can run
Exactly.
Doom, the Steam Deck will run Doom. So
Perfect. My second question, you just spent $400. Would you have spent them on a CarPlay device or on the Steam Deck?
on the Steam Deck.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't want that CarPlay that much?
Look, here's the
He
thing.
wants CarPlay on the Steam Deck, obviously.
Were you lying the
Throw
whole
the Steam
episode,
Deck on.
Spencer?
You get those
no.
you get those analog controls that you're used to from the radio. I mean, you can't spin the control nozzle. You can move them up and down.
Okay, here's the thing. We were talking about Apple products, right?
Uh-huh.
For like the last 3 years, 3 or 4
He
years.
doesn't want a Panasonic CarPlay. He wants an Apple.
No, I've been working from home. I drive my car once a week, maybe. Whereas I game every day. And so the amount of time that I would enjoy a CarPlay device for $500 is a lot less than I would enjoy the Steam Deck. That is my rationale. Take it or leave it.
Very rational rationale.
Thank you.
24-inch CarPlay.
I'm just going to put a super ultra-wide display right on my dashboard, have a camera.
Skip
that
it.
Projects...
Let's just do the heads-up display of
totally.
CarPlay. And you have to
Apple Pencil power.
jab. You have to touch the windshield.
Apple, make it happen, please. So yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It's really, really good. I think the people's takes on it are interesting to see because I think they're coming from a lot of different places. They expect more from this thing, but when you look at it from this perspective of $500 ish around there, it's super good for what you get, especially if you like already have a bunch of games. Or again, if you just want to emulate stuff, then you can do that too. So it's also technically a computer. You could, I guess, install Windows on it. Someone installed System 7 on it, which was pretty cool. So it's good. I would recommend it. Highly recommend it when you can buy one. On the topic of that, on the topic of last week's kind of side topic of 3D printing, people are putting out a button. Valve, the company that made the Steam Deck, put out a full 3D model of the Steam Deck, and so people have been coming up with things to 3D print and stuff. So
love that.
So you can make your own grips and case.
Yeah, you can do whatever. They're super open to stuff. So here, let me put it on here. That's one really good thing about like what they're doing is it's all very open source. I mean, it's running Linux and it's got its own operating system, but they're open sourcing the operating system. So if you want to throw this on a Windows computer, you could, I guess.
I heard that they had to emulate like all the Windows games to be able to
Yes.
run on it. Does that work well, or is it just eh?
Yeah, I mean, that's what almost everything will, like Elden Ring, for example, doesn't run on Linux natively. They've got this compatibility layer called Proton, I think. It works pretty well, and apparently people have installed Windows on this as well, just to see like the comparative performance to like more native. I think the driver support isn't quite there, but also I just probably would guess that the overall headroom of running the operating system of Windows in the background is probably taking a performance hit. They say it's like anywhere from 20 to 40% slower depending on the game. So it's pretty good. It's only a 4-core, 8-thread CPU, but they've got an integrated GPU from AMD that's like the latest generation that like currently I don't think any other CPUs have right now.
Apple.
Only like dedicated graphics. So they kind of did like a side deal with AMD to get like the most recent graphics. So it works really well for what it is. And it's only like a 15 watt TDP. So it's not, comparatively super powerful. Okay. So I've got this little clip thing on here. And it's got these two slots. So you can like put on. So I have one that's like a kickstand. This thing is crazy. Okay. So
Nice.
just goes on.
Is it like a switch where you can like take the controls
No.
out? Okay, so it's like one piece.
Yeah, it's one piece.
The anime.
But then, yeah, the anime, yes. But it has. Oh, sorry, this is missing one piece. One piece.
The anime.
Shoot, hold on. Now it's gonna break in my demonstration. There we go. This guy that made this sort of attachment thing is kind of crazy, but it has these like clip things. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a spring in here that you just glue on, and so it's like this doesn't come out until you want it to. And then it's got a kickstand that's kind of geared, although the gear is not in place right now. I'm missing one piece, but you can move, the kickstand up and down. Or it's got like this battery bank attachment, so you can just like throw the battery bank on, and it's, like attached. If I can see there we go. So it kind of clicks in place, and it's like not going to go anywhere until you want it to. So kind of cool that they open source stuff like that, and they're not an NVIDIA or an Apple in that way.
Yeah,
Very
I really
cool.
don't want Apple to buy Nintendo, but I kind of hope that... No, I don't hope. I know it will never happen, but it would have been nice if like Nintendo could use Apple stuff, because it's like the only thing that would meet their requirements for the Switch, and be able to deliver on the performance. So yeah, sad times.
And maybe make things actually up to date and not 8 years old in terms of graphical performance.
I mean, props to Nintendo. I mean, from day one, they are profitable, right? And
No, totally.
all these other console makers are like playing the very long game. So like they're doing something right. It's just like I wish it could be prettier. That's all. I want to personally thank everyone for listening in this week. Please be sure to follow us on Twitter at CodeCompletion to know when new episodes get released, and feel free to tweet at us if there's ever a topic you'd like for us to dig into. Most importantly, as a small podcast, please be sure to share this with your friends and family who are also interested in any part of the process of app development. It's your support that enables us to continue doing this, and we hope to grow a healthy community around everything we discuss. Once again, I want to give my thanks to Fernando, who is at From Junior to Senior. That's FROMJRTOSR on Twitter. Spencer, who is at Spencer C. Curtis, that's SPENCERCCURTIS on Twitter, for joining me this week. My name once again is Dimitri. You can find me at Dimitri Bouniol, that's DIMITRIBOUNIOL, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Titles. We got a lot.
We did get a lot. One Piece the enemy.
But it's piece as in pieces,
Right.
not peace as in war and peace.
I got it.
Yes.
Damn you, autocorrect.
English is hard.
I get to blame autocorrect on everything now. It's all machine learning. It just changes correct words to other correct words that don't make sense in the context anymore.
God,
That's why my typing has gone worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
has your autocorrect on iPhone just gone like rogue?
Yes. Like for
Mine
years.
has stopped working like altogether. It's just like randomly replacing things that make no sense. Some of the
you've
things
seen how many times I edit stuff on Slack, right?
It's
just
horrible.
like
yeah. Like it replaces things with gibberish, like literal gibberish. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's just very annoying.
I wish. Is there a way that you can like reset the?
That's a good
replacement?
question. You'd probably have to reset the whole thing, like the whole iPhone.
yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. Or it would be cool to see like what replacement, like have it list out the replacements and be like, no, that's not what I want. Swipe to delete.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. So if it gives you something and you don't like it and you delete it and you type it again, and you do that 3 times over the course of like some period, it remembers it.
Yeah, I know,
But
It
it
does?
also has mixed in everyone else's horrible like corrections and
Yeah.
spellings over the years, and you therefore have like everyone's like cursive math type popping up. Like I've tweeted that one a few times of like the super crazy alternate character sets that you have for math that people like to write, so you get stylistic writing in Twitter. That shows up in my autocorrect. I'm like, this has no business being in my autocorrect. Like, there's that. There's it replacing words with other words.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a huge problem. It does this on the Mac now because, of course, that's where we needed it. And yeah, I have given up trying to be better at spelling. It's just not something that will be good for me, especially as I try to fight the system that makes me think that I type something correctly, because I'm staring at my keyboard while I type because I'm a good typist. And therefore I don't notice when it just swaps things out, because I know what letters I typed. I can type code, and there's no replacements happening with code. I can type code just fine, like paragraphs, without looking at the screen, just staring at my chicken pecking, and that works. But as soon as I look up and it's normal English, it's an abomination. And I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the computer. Who knows what could have happened in between? I wasn't looking. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn you, autocorrect.
I just finally found you made me go and look again for a GameCube controller stand, and I found one that's really, really, really clever and cool.
Cool. You should get a printer and print it yourself.
You can try all of them.
Yeah.
Worst thing is I could.
You can't recycle the material, right? Once you mess up, that's junk.
No,
off to the oceans it goes, right?
You can't. Yeah, you can't recycle it like to reprint. I'm sure you could recycle
darn.
the plastic itself.
Plastic is not recyclable. That's a myth that's been propagated by those stupid symbols that don't mean anything.
Well,
Like big plastic.
It is. No, I'm serious. Okay, so if you have no clue, the symbols indicate what kind of plastic it is, 1 through 6 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Plastic has 3 stages. It's either clear and beautiful, murky, or gets recycled into murky gross shit, and then that gets recycled into styrofoam, and that's it. Like, from that point forward, it ain't recycled anymore. You can never get the same thing out of it like you can with glass or aluminum. So plastic is like the worst recyclable thing, but they propagated the myth that, oh, you should recycle your plastic. Look, there's a little recycling symbol. Therefore, you should do it. Do you know what happens when you put plastic in the recycling? They trash it. Because it's not worth it. So plastic is not recyclable.
What happened to okay, this isn't recycling, but at least it doesn't go in the ocean. What happened to shooting all of our trash off into the sun or something? We should just do that.
They tried that in Futurama. It came back and bit us.
We have learned then.
Probably too expensive to just throw away the rocket. Maybe with the new Falcons, you could just
we just
go
need like
to
a
space.
big slingshot.
Exactly. Calculate the trajectory.
Yes.
Shoot, open up, and then come back.
What's that movie?
you have 10 times the mass that's coming back to the Earth and sitting in the ocean. As the rocket.
Well, you gotta recover the rocket. I mean, SpaceX recovery style. I don't know. A lot of money in just rocket fuel, I suppose. Look, guys. I don't have the solutions. I just want the solution.
Do you know what the craziest part of this is? I read an article this week how nature has made its habitat those giant floating plastic islands that have formed of our trash. Like, that is now an ecosystem, and that makes it significantly more complicated to just we can't clean this up now because all these endangered species that were living in corals, they're now living in our trash.
That's so bad.
I'm kind of hopeful a bacteria will develop that will actually eat plastic. and that'll solve the plastic recycling issue.
I mean, we only need 1 billion years to test that theory, right?
Well, I mean, things have been evolving pretty quickly according to like the environment, depending on us. Like I know birds have been evolving within like 12 generations to like change a bunch of their patterns. So
But
COVID
it's not
evolved in
making-
like a year. So
It's not making brand new proteins. It's just recycling what's already there. If that makes any sense.
sure,
Like you would
I
need
think
some
so.
brand new machinery to digest some plastic.
Just
I
do
agree.
some
Yeah.
protein folding.
Yeah. So what printer would you recommend for me to like destroy the planet, Spencer?
Don't put it that way. That makes me feel so bad about my hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already murky
Oh.
plastic, right? If you're not burning it, then you should be able to like make it soft again and re-strand it into filament, right?
We didn't know
Probably
what the
could.
opposite of catalyst was. I don't trust us to answer that question.
Buffer.
Is it?
Slower downer.
Slower downer.
A refrigerator.
There we go. I would say like an Ender 3 is like cheap relatively. And they print really well. This is the same one as I recommended to
The what?
Ben.
Ender?
3. Yeah. I have the Ender 3 Max, which is basically the same. It's just a little bit larger print size that you can get, but it's pretty much the same. So I don't know how much money you want to invest into
It's
this, but
expensive. Invest.
it's an investment, dude.
It is not an investment.
Look,
In no way, shape, or form would it be an investment.
But Bitcoin is an investment where
Ah.
you lose.
Exactly.
no,
exactly.
Luna is.
Right now.
And it's based on the dollar, right? It'll never go down.
That's
Any
right.
day now. Any day now.
Oh my.
I'll think
You
about
can
it.
print-
It's expensive enough that I'd have to ask for it as a birthday thing. And I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to waste my birthday present.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But it is very cool to like
It's
just
very cool.
print random shit.
The coolest part about it is like once you have the initial cost of the printer, you buy a $20 roll of filament that's a kilogram, and it will last you so many prints for so long. So the upkeep cost is fairly low in comparison.
I mean, it takes longer to kill the planet. That's gotta be a
That's
possibility.
right. And you know the prints take a long time. I mean, we're not really killing it all that much faster. I think that's a joke. just for anyone listening still.
Yeah, it seems like 3D printed waste can be turned into new spools. So you just need a fancy machine that you put the plastic in, it softens it, and it will re-extrude it into filament.
Oh,
That's an investment. Like just
That's
buy
cool.
one of those, contact all of your local 3D printers and say, hey, I will recycle your...
that's really cool.
Because that's what I thought. You're not really burning it, so you're not really like changing the nature of the plastic. You're just like softening it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could re-soften it, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That makes sense.
I mean, I'm sure there are certain types of plastic that will not re-soften. Like you only get one
Right.
go at it.
Yeah, it's saying the two commonly most used plastics are not very easily recycled. So, like you'd have to do it with specifically a recycler for filament, but you could totally do it. That's cool. I'll start separating out my
Like you'd need to
prints and stuff.
separate it by color, definitely.
Yeah, well, I almost always print in black anyway. So cool. That's cool. I'm gonna look into that and see if anyone does that near me.
And if not, you should invest in it.
That'll be a lot of investment. money.
Use your earnings from like Luna.
Yeah, you're taking.
Oh yeah, you know me. I'm a huge Luna investor.
Oh my gosh, the whole like landscape collapsed overnight.
Oh, it's so,
So-
good though.
It wasn't
It's so
overnight.
good.
It took like a week.
2 days. Pretty fast.
But it was, it sucked.
which is awesome, dude. It's like less energy being used.
More people
Less people
understanding that
getting-
crypto is not the future.
Yeah, less people getting scammed.
I
More
saw
GPUs
someone.
available.
I saw someone reference that like 99% of all like transactions happen on like Coinbase and stuff, and Coinbase
Oh.
does not even put it on the blockchain. They just store the transaction in the SQL database because they're trading it amongst themselves like in one
Right.
confined system.
Yeah.
So they don't need to report any of it as like having happened here or there. So I found that to be extra hilarious.
But
But
it's
Web3,
decentralized.
guys. Web3.
I mean, imagine how expensive it would have been if like Coinbase
Yeah.
was doing it on the blockchain. It would be unusable.
Yeah.
Unusable.
So it's like-
yeah.
There's like almost 100% like technology, like a technological reason why they did it this way, and that's the only way for it to work. that's the hilarious part of this.
I think that tweet mentioned that another exchange was reverting some trades that people made during the whole Luna debacle. And people were like, what do you mean reverse? It's decentralized.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to happen. And everyone's like, well, it's just frustrating. But funny. It is funny.
Very funny.
In a, I'm going to butcher the word, but Schadenfreude kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah, also super depressing for some people. Like losing.
Yeah,
life
if you
savings.
put your life savings in that, that's tough.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean,
I'll be honest.
it's on them, but still, that sucks.
But I'll be honest. If no one told you, like, hey, don't you think like putting your life savings into like some volatile shit is gonna like come and bite you? Then yeah, it sucks because everyone makes mistakes. Like you could have just like been in the echo chamber for too long. Nobody told you otherwise, and then yeah, I feel bad for those people. But those people that we told them like, hey, this is a scam, like why are you doing this, it's stupid, and they go like, no, this is the future, they're giving me a guaranteed 20%.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like I don't know if you deserve, but it's like, what were you expecting?
It's financial illiteracy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
People
gotta
just
do your
don't
research.
understand how things work. I mean, just like the stock market. I mean, it's just as silly. I mean, you know how Elon Musk plans to buy Twitter, right? He's not actually exchanging any money for anything. He is getting someone else's money, like via a loan, using his Tesla stock as a what's that called?
Collateral.
As collateral. So he's not actually cashing out of his Tesla stock. He's not getting any money for this to get taxed on. He's borrowing money, which is something you don't get taxed on, and then he's using that money to pay someone else directly, and therefore he now owns it. So, like, the whole system is ridiculous on every facet, like whether it's crypto or not. But you have to realize that it's the same system, and crypto ain't a special unicorn, and it's just playing within the palms of like the same exact thing. It's people want to make money, that's why they're playing this game, and the last one there is always going to be the sucker, because that's how Ponzi schemes work.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how they work. And there was a tweet by someone I followed who's a great PM, Dare, I forget his last name. I retweet him all the time. And he was like, Web3 people, techies, were very frustrated when you hear, I butchered that. Techies are very frustrated when you hear that Web3 is going to be like the future, because Web3 is not a tech play. It's a financial play. It's
just like Uber.
An unregulated financial market that's built on top of tech. So that the unregulated financial part is the important part.
I mean, why do you think tech hates Uber so much? It's the same exact reason.
It's the same thing. Yeah, I agree.
It's a bunch of mafiosos from the finance industry, like trying to make a play in tech and saying like, "Oh, here we're doing this tech thing," but they're also like taking the ripe gold that's there for the taking and then just leaving nothing left.
I want to add that you said like the financial market and the crypto market are the same. They are the same in essence. It's just the financial market has gone through all of this in the past 150 years.
There are laws now.
Exactly. There are laws that
no.
prevents. That's the
But they don't
difference.
apply to billionaires.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
You're right.
One thing was like, I was watching a CopyZilla video about like this whole Luna thing, and he I think it was in that video, he mentioned like at the height of like the Ponzi scheme era, Bernie Madoff, promised 10% returns, right? And that was like outrageous.
Outrageous.
And Luna promised 20%. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it, guys. That sounds great.
I saw another tweet that said Luna went, like the returns on Luna were 450x in 2 years. And they didn't solve anything specifically. So he was like, why is no one like realizing?
Like, invest $1,000 and in X amount of years, you'll have like $2.5 million. It's like, okay. Yeah, that sounds totally believable.
It reminds me a lot of those stock market simulations that you can play with people, where like you all start with $10,000 and then you can see who makes the most at the end of the day. And there's like a super easy way to game that system. You find the cheapest penny stock you can that like doubles or halves like just randomly. You invest all of it in that, and you just keep doing that. Ignore every big stock and just like focus on that random noise penny stock. Because if you were to do that in real life, you would crash that penny stock. Like they would not be able to take the influx of $1 million being put in. It just wouldn't work. But in fake simulation life, you can do whatever you want. So therefore, what you do has no impact on like what would happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, just look at what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter right now. Elon Musk saying something has a direct impact on Twitter's like stock price at this point. So like that's the thing with a lot of finance in general is people have direct impact, whether it's like actual individuals or giant exchanges that are just computers reacting. There's buy orders and sell orders that are already in the system, and whenever it reaches a threshold, they just engage. And once they engage, that can cause a chain reaction in one way or another. It's not a person that's driving the stock market down. It's a bunch of people that made a bunch of collective decisions to protect their funds or whatever, and it just chain reacts. And you can't get that in a simulation. So if you think that, oh, I'm good, I practice, that's not going to help you in any capacity, because in reality, it's much more complicated. For better or for worse.
That's also like playing poker without money. Like, it doesn't matter how good you think you are. When there's money on the line, things are very different. You behave differently. People behave erratically. Even if it's $1, that's why $1 was always my threshold for a successful business. Even if it's $1, people will fight for $1. It's weird.
And I would like to remind our listeners, if anyone ever says like you have to bet or something, you don't. Like, I flat out will never bet on anything because it's not worth it. I will never drink when people say like, "Oh, let's drink." It's like, no, I'm not interested. They will give up. Don't worry. It's not. There's like the peer pressure is more on yourself. Yeah, exactly. So don't feel like peer pressure is a thing that you need to uphold. I am an example of someone who has like accepted zero peer pressure from anyone along those like facets. So I don't know if you needed to hear that.
8K monitors.
I will push those on Fernando and make him jealous. Make him jealous. That doesn't exist.
Peer pressuring me to buy like bigger monitors. No, I'm fine with my 10-inch monitor.
No, you're not. No, you're not, Fernando. You need this in your life.
It's so glorious. Except it's maddening as every window shifts around. I have, once again, like, I get sometimes the side monitors, the backgrounds will flip. I get it. They're the same, Like, it gets confused. It doesn't know what port's connected to. I don't know what's going on. I know it gets confused. Fine. Like, I've accepted that whatever I have on the right is not going to... It can sometimes be on the left, and I'll just switch randomly. Sure. What I don't get is, why are they cycling? Why do my windows from the left go to the center and the center go to the... Like, how is that happening? Why does it not know where the login screen should go, and it's just like a black rectangle off in the side, and very confused. I don't get it. Like, I guarantee you, if I roll over... I don't know if you can kind of see those monitors over where.
Oh, I love this.
He's very angry.
He's an angry elf.
And now it shows up correctly. I don't get it. I have no freaking clue.
They can sense your anger, Dimitri. I know. I hear you. It sucks. Software has gone to shit. We used to do better with software in the old days. Get off my lawn. All right. I'm going to leave.